Welcome to Of Another Fold, where music, film, and sports collide with real stories. Here, legends are more than headlines, and every journey reveals the human behind the fame. Settle in, another story is about to unfold. He is the face of a new generation, a performer whose presence feels both fragile and electric. A young man who rose from the streets of Manhattan to the global stage, redefining what it means to be a modern leading man. Timothée Chalamet was never meant to blend in. From the moment he appeared on screen, audiences felt something different, an intensity, a vulnerability, a raw, emotional honesty that set him apart. In an era dominated by superheroes and spectacle, he became a star through subtlety, depth, and truth. But behind the fame, behind the magazine covers and red carpet moments, lies a story shaped by culture, family, ambition, and relentless work. A story that begins long before Dune, long before Wonka, long before the world knew his name. This is the journey of Timothée Chalamet, the French-American kid from New York City who transformed into one of the most influential actors of his generation. A journey filled with early struggles, artistic breakthroughs, global acclaim, complicated relationships, and the pressures of fame that few his age have ever faced. Today we explore his life from the very beginning, where he came from, how he rose, the roles that changed everything, the relationships that shaped him, and the controversies that tested him. This is the making of a modern icon. Early life and family roots. Before the world knew his name, before the red carpets and global premieres, Timothée Chalamet was simply a kid growing up in the heart of New York City, a place that shaped his identity long before Hollywood ever did. Timothée Chalamet was born on December 27, 1995, in Manhattan, New York. His childhood unfolded in Hell's Kitchen, a neighborhood known for its grit, creativity, and constant motion. It was the perfect backdrop for a boy who would one day thrive on emotional intensity and artistic expression. His family was a blend of cultures and creativity. His mother, Nicole Flender, was a former Broadway dancer who later became a real estate broker. She introduced him to the discipline and beauty of performance. His father, Marc Chalamet, was born in France and worked as an editor for UNICEF, giving Timothée a global perspective from a young age. Through his father, he holds dual US and French citizenship, a connection that would later influence his artistic identity and even his fluency in French. He wasn't the only artist in the family. His older sister, Pauline Chalamet, also pursued acting, proving that creativity ran deep in their household. Surrounded by culture, languages, and the arts, Timothée grew up believing that storytelling wasn't just entertainment, it was a way of life. His path became clearer when he attended Fiorello H. LaGuardia High School of Music and Art and Performing Arts, the same school that produced icons like Jennifer Aniston, Al Pacino, and Nicki Minaj. At LaGuardia, he found his tribe, young performers hungry to create, compete, and push themselves. Teachers described him as intense, curious, and fearless. He wasn't the loudest in the room, but he was the one who felt everything deeply. This was where Timothée Chalamet began to understand who he was and who he could become. First steps into acting. Every great actor has a beginning, and for Timothée Chalamet, it started long before the world noticed him. While still a teenager at LaGuardia High School, Timothée began auditioning for commercials, short films, and small TV roles. He wasn't an overnight success. He was a kid grinding through casting rooms, learning how to handle rejection, and sharpening the emotional instincts that would later define him. His first notable break came in 2012 when he landed a recurring role on the hit series Homeland. He played Finn Walden, the rebellious son of the vice president. It wasn't a huge role, but it was enough to get casting directors talking. People noticed his intensity, the way he could communicate vulnerability with just a look. Even then, he had that rare ability to make a scene feel alive. Around this time, he also appeared in short films and small projects, slowly building a resume that showed range and ambition. In 2014, he made his feature film debut in Men, Women, and Children, followed by a supporting role in Interstellar, where he played the young version of Matthew McConaughey's son. Even with limited screen time, audiences remembered him. His emotional breakdown scene, filmed in a single take, hinted at the depth he would later bring to leading roles. But despite these early steps, Timothy was still searching for the role that would define him. He briefly attended Columbia University, then transferred to NYU's Gallatin School to design his own curriculum, focusing on acting and creative expression. He wasn't interested in a traditional path. He wanted to build a career that felt personal, artistic, and fearless. These early years weren't glamorous. They were filled with auditions, uncertainty, and the quiet determination of a young actor who knew he had something to offer, even if the world hadn't fully seen it yet. Breakthrough, the role that changed everything. Every rising star has a moment when the world finally pays attention, and for Timothée Chalamet, that moment arrived with a film that would redefine his entire career. By 2017, Timothy had built a small but impressive list of credits: Interstellar, Homeland, and a handful of indie films, but nothing prepared him for what came next. That year, he starred in Call Me By Your Name, directed by Luca Guadagnino. It was a quiet, intimate film set in the Italian countryside, but its emotional power was undeniable. Timothy played Elio Perlman, a 17-year-old navigating first love, heartbreak, and self-discovery. His performance was raw, vulnerable, and astonishingly mature. Critics immediately recognized the depth of his talent. He earned an Academy Award nomination for Best Actor, making him one of the youngest nominees in the category's history. Overnight, he went from promising newcomer to global sensation. Audiences connected with him in a way that felt personal. He wasn't just acting, he was revealing something true. That same year, he appeared in Lady Bird, directed by Greta Gerwig, playing the aloof guitar-playing Kyle. The role was small but memorable, adding to his growing reputation as an actor who could disappear into any character. He also starred in Hostiles alongside Christian Bale, proving he could hold his own in intense, dramatic films. This trio of performances, emotional, comedic, and dramatic, showcased his range and solidified his place as one of Hollywood's most exciting young actors. Suddenly, everyone wanted to work with him. Directors praised his discipline, co-stars admired his fearlessness, and fans around the world saw him as a new kind of leading man, sensitive, expressive, and unafraid to be vulnerable. Timothée Chalamet had officially arrived. Global stardom, the roles that shaped a generation. After his breakout year, Timothée Chalamet didn't just rise, he ascended. Each new role pushed him further into global recognition, proving he wasn't a one-film wonder, but a once-in-a-generation talent. In 2018, he delivered one of the most emotionally devastating performances of his career in Beautiful Boy, starring alongside Steve Carell. Playing Nick Sheff, a young man battling addiction, Timothy immersed himself in the role with heartbreaking honesty. Critics praised his commitment, and he earned nominations from the Golden Globes, BAFTA, and the Screen Actors Guild. It was clear he could carry the emotional weight of a film on his shoulders. That same year, he joined Greta Gerwig once again for Little Women, playing Theodore Laurie Lawrence. His chemistry with Saoirse Ronan became one of the film's emotional anchors. Laurie was charming, impulsive, and deeply human, a character Timothy played with effortless nuance. Then came the role that launched him into true global superstardom, Dune. Cast as Paul Atreides, he stepped into one of the most iconic characters in science fiction history. The film's massive scale, combined with his introspective performance, introduced him to audiences far beyond the indie and art house world. He became a cultural phenomenon, a young actor leading a billion-dollar franchise with quiet intensity instead of brute force. In 2023, he took on a completely different challenge, Wonka. As a young Willy Wonka, he blended whimsy, musicality, and charm, proving he could lead a family blockbuster just as easily as a dramatic epic. The film showcased his versatility and expanded his fan base even further. By this point, Timothée Chalamet wasn't just an actor, he was a global figure, a fashion icon, a generational voice, a performer whose choices shaped the direction of modern cinema. His dating life behind the roles, behind the red carpets, behind the global fame, Timothée Chalamet's personal life has always fascinated the public, but unlike many young stars, he has kept his relationships private, choosing silence over spectacle. One of his earliest known relationships was with Lourdes Leon, the daughter of Madonna. The two met while attending LaGuardia High School. They were young, ambitious, and navigating the pressures of early fame together. Years later, Lourdes would speak warmly about him, calling him a good guy and praising his character. Their relationship ended quietly, without drama, a rare thing in Hollywood. Years later, Timothy entered a highly publicized relationship with Lily Rose Depp, daughter of Johnny Depp and Vanessa Paradis. The two met while filming The King in 2018. Their chemistry on screen mirrored their connection off screen, and they quickly became one of the most photographed young couples in entertainment. Despite the attention, they kept their relationship low-key, rarely speaking about it publicly. By 2020, the two had separated, though they remained respectful toward each other in the press. In 2023, Timothy's love life made headlines again when he began dating Kylie Jenner. Their relationship surprised many, a quiet, introspective actor paired with one of the most recognizable figures in pop culture. Yet the two seemed genuinely connected. They were spotted together at events, family gatherings, and award shows, and by 2024, their relationship was widely acknowledged. Despite intense media scrutiny, they maintained a united front, choosing privacy over publicity. Through every chapter of his dating life, one thing has remained consistent: Timothée Chalamet avoids drama. He respects boundaries, protects the people he cares about, and refuses to let the spotlight define his relationships. Drama, rumors, and media scrutiny. Fame is never quiet, and for Timothée Chalamet, a young actor who built his career on authenticity, the noise around him often grew louder than the roles he played. Despite his gentle public image, Timothy has faced his share of rumors and media pressure. One of the most persistent narratives involved speculation about his personal relationships. In 2026, online gossip attempted to link him to actress Odessa Azion, sparking a wave of social media theories. But the story was quickly debunked by reputable outlets, confirming there was no truth behind the claims. It was a reminder of how easily the internet can distort reality, especially when it comes to young stars. His relationship with Kylie Jenner brought even more attention. The pairing surprised fans, and the tabloids amplified every sighting, every photo, every moment. While neither Timothy nor Kylie fed into the drama, the media often tried to create tension where none existed. Through it all, he maintained his signature silence, choosing privacy over spectacle, refusing to let gossip define him. Another recurring challenge has been the pressure of sudden global fame. After Call Me By Your Name and Dune, Timothy became a cultural symbol, a fashion icon, a Gen Z figurehead, a face of modern masculinity. With that came scrutiny over everything from his red carpet outfits to his friendships, yet he handled it with grace, often redirecting attention back to his work rather than the noise surrounding it. For all the rumors, Timothée Chalamet has avoided major scandals. No arrests, no public meltdowns, no destructive behavior. His drama has mostly been the invention of tabloids hungry for clicks. In reality, he remains grounded, private, and focused, a young actor navigating fame with unusual maturity. Legacy, influence, and the future of Timothée Chalamet. Some actors follow trends, others create them. Timothée Chalamet became the latter, not by force, but by authenticity. By his mid-20s, Timothy had already built a resume that most actors spend decades chasing, but his influence extends far beyond film. He became a cultural symbol, a representation of a new kind of masculinity, expressive, emotional, artistic, and unafraid of vulnerability. His red carpet choices challenged traditional norms, blending elegance with boldness. Designers saw him as a muse, fans saw him as a voice for individuality. His impact on Gen Z is undeniable. Young actors cite him as inspiration, fashion houses build campaigns around his aesthetic, directors praise his discipline and emotional intelligence, and audiences connect with him because he never pretends to be anything other than himself. As he moves into the next phase of his career, Timothy continues choosing roles that challenge him, from epic sci-fi sagas to intimate character dramas. He refuses to be boxed in. His upcoming projects, including new collaborations with acclaimed directors, signal a future filled with artistic risks and global attention. But perhaps his greatest legacy is the way he changed expectations. He proved that a leading man doesn't need to be loud to be powerful, that sensitivity can be strength, that youth can carry depth, and that authenticity, when paired with talent, can reshape an entire generation's idea of what a star looks like. Timothée Chalamet's story is still being written. His rise has been meteoric, but his journey is far from over. As he continues to evolve, one thing remains certain: he is not just part of Hollywood's future, he is helping define it. From the streets of Manhattan to the global stage, Timothée Chalamet's journey is far from ordinary. It is a story of talent, discipline, vulnerability, and the courage to stay true to himself in a world that constantly demands more. As we look back on his life, the French-American roots, the artistic household, the early auditions, the breakout roles, the global stardom, the relationships, the rumors, the pressure, one thing becomes clear. Timothée Chalamet didn't rise because he chased fame. He rose because he chased truth. Every performance, whether in an intimate indie film or a massive blockbuster, carries the same signature: emotional honesty. He gives audiences permission to feel deeply, to embrace sensitivity, to see strength in vulnerability. And in doing so, he has become more than an actor. He has become a cultural mirror, reflecting the complexities of a new generation. His story is still unfolding. New roles, new challenges, new chapters await him. But if his past is any indication, Timothy will continue choosing projects that push boundaries, spark conversation, and redefine what a leading man can be. In a world obsessed with noise, he remains a quiet force. In an industry built on image, he remains authentic. And in a generation searching for meaning, he remains a symbol of possibility. This is Timothée Chalamet, not just a star, but an artist. Not just a celebrity, but a voice. Not just a moment, but a legacy in motion. His journey continues, and the world is watching. Are you a Timothée Chalamet fan? What are you hoping to see him take on next? Another film? A new genre? A bold transformation? Share your thoughts below. And if you love all things Timothy, explore the links in the description. Thank you for watching.